Hi, I'm Rachel, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made a set of mini Christmas tree ornaments for my mini Christmas tree out of polymer clay. This is what they look like. It's actually a really simple and easy craft. It's so much fun. You can be as fast as you want or as detailed as you want, and I'm going to show you how to do it. I filmed this a little while ago, so it's going to be filmed from the top-down view. So right here, I'm just showing you the finished product. I've got a whole set, and this is what was created with one of these blocks of Sculpey clay. You roll it really, really thin. When I cut the strings, I made them a little bit longer because my original intention was to find a tree branch out of my yard and paint it white and add a little bit of gold touches. But I ended up not doing that. I couldn't find a branch that I liked, so I'm going to be putting these ornaments on this mini Christmas tree here. This tree has colored lights. I wish it had clear lights, but they didn't have any. And since the strings are long, I'm actually going to just tie it around like that, which I think will make it really easy to take them off the tree when it's time to clean it up. So you can see here, here's one of the ornaments. And you could also use a colored clay like this. This reminds me of gingerbread. So I bought this in order to make a set of tiny miniature little gingerbread cookies to hang on the tree as well. But let me show you what you need to get started. The first thing you need is some clay. I use the brand Sculpey and I use the Primo because I read that the Primo version is just better quality. You will also need a rolling pin. You will need a work surface to be able to roll them out on. I have a bigger one of these that it's an oven liner, and this is just a scrap to show you. I've already put away my liner. But I used a piece of this, and then I also used some parchment paper. Parchment comes in white or brown, it doesn't matter, but you could take a sheet of parchment paper, tape it down because it moves around a lot, and you could roll your clay out on that. That's just so that your clay doesn't stick to your surface and so you can get your little ornaments up. The other thing that you're going to need is you're going to need some clay tools. The ones that I consider essential for this is a tool that has a little ball at the top, and that is so that you can poke a hole in the top so that you can string your ornaments. Some people like to go ahead and string them before they bake, but I wanted to string them after I baked because I didn't want the string to get kind of baked in there so that the string could move smoothly. The other thing that you'll want is this top. Kind of like a sponge, a makeup applicator sponge. It's on the opposite side of this metal ball, and that way you can smooth off any rough edges of the clay. I have a whole box of different tools that I've gathered over the years. The other thing that you'll need is an X-Acto knife because sometimes the clay doesn't come out perfectly, and you could cut the edges and just refine them a little bit. About 2 cookie cutters, which I'll show you later in the video. The other thing that you'll need, of course, is an oven and some string. Another thing I forgot to mention that you're going to need are some rubber stamps. That is, if you want to stamp some designs on the front of your ornaments. Here I have a little mushroom stamp. So I made myself a bunch of stamps earlier this year, and I wanted to use some of those designs on my ornaments here. So I went through them and I selected just a couple, and I also had some little wooden stamps that I used. I think there was a heart-shaped one that I used to stamp on these, but you can buy your stamps. You can also use a pencil tip or one of these clay tools to etch your own design into the clay. But I just found that stamps work really well, and it's a little bit faster than trying to make a design on each one individually. So go gather some stamps. And the last thing that you want to gather is some glitter and some glue. I use tacky glue. This one right here is a clear tacky glue, but the tacky glue that I used for this project comes in a gold bottle, and it was actually white, but it dries clear. So either of them are fine, but you would brush it on, you would water it down a little bit and brush it onto the baked clay, and then this glitter will stick. I chose just 2 colors. I could have chosen a lot of different colors. I picked out gold stars, and I picked out some white iridescent stars. I was going for an all white and gold look, but I also plan on making some others that have different tones, different colors. The sky is the limit. You pick out the colors that you like.
Here you can see the different types of stars that I selected. I ended up only using the gold and the white, and there are the 2 cookie cutters, a star and the inside of a donut cutter. So the first thing you want to do is to open your Sculpey clay. Those 2 sticks that you see right there, I was thinking that I could get an even thickness by rolling between the 2 sticks, but I ended up not using them. I didn't need to. Even though my polymer clay was new, it was extremely stiff, and it took me a long time to roll it out. Aim for an 1/8 inch thickness If you go a little bit thicker, I think it's going to be a little bit long. It would take longer to dry, and I wanted something that was thinner and more delicate since it was going on a mini Christmas tree. And now for the fun part. Get out your cookie cutters and start cutting the clay. If you find that your clay is sticking to your cookie cutter, then you can dip the bottom into a little bit of cornstarch, and that will cause it to slip right off. I didn't need to do that. My clay worked pretty well. So yeah, just remember that in case you run into some trouble. Next, you'll want to peel the outer section of the clay away from the ornaments. This is fun because then you get to see how the ornaments turned out. Next, you'll want to select your clear stamps, the ones that you want to use for your designs, and put them on the little clear block, and then you're ready to stamp. Just make sure when you're stamping that you don't push too hard so that you don't get the edges of the stamp that don't belong there. I ended up using several of the clear stamp designs for my stars and for my circles. I didn't want them to all be identical. And if you'd like to learn how to make your own custom clear stamps, head over to my video that I have. Just go to Pocket Dreams Co. and you'll see a video about how to make your own clear custom stamps. I also use these little tiny ready-made rubber stamps. I think I picked out a heart, maybe another one, and I think they're so cute, and the designs were small enough to fit on my mini ornaments. The next step is an important one. You want to take that little ball on the end of your clay tool and make a hole so that you have a place to be able to put a string through. First, you can start with a smaller ball, and then you want to make a larger hole. So you also need to pick up your ornament and run the tool through the opposite side, because I found that when I just put the ball through the top side, the other side had some rough edges that needed to be taken off. And now I'm taking the smoothing tool, the applicator end of my clay tool, to smooth out the sides that are a little bit rough on the front and the back of all the ornaments. It really helps the ornaments look a lot better. Also, I noticed that some of my ornaments had a little crack or hairline lines in it, and that means that I did not roll it properly. I should have basically kneaded the clay longer and then rolled it out so that there would be no lines, no folding lines in there. So there was only a few that I saw, so it was almost perfect, but there were still a couple of places that I realized that I should have probably mashed up that ornament and started that one over again. But that's okay. They don't have to be perfect. And now it's time to decorate. Get out your tacky glue, and the first thing that I did was to put a dot on several of the ornaments. You wouldn't want to do all of them at the same time because then it would be drying before you got to them, but just place a dot in the center of some of the ornaments, and then you're going to dip your paintbrush in water, and then you're going to brush that glue all over the surface of the ornament. That way you can then stick your glitter on top. I found it really helpful to use the ball tool, because these little stars are so tiny, and I found that I didn't even need to put any glue on it. They just kind of had static cling to them, and it stuck to the ball, and I was able to put them down. Then I needed to use my fingernails to get them to stay on the clay, even though there was glue on there, because they kind of wanted to stick to both things. After your glitter has dried, you might want to brush a thin coat of polyacrylic varnish on top. That way it gives the ornaments a shine. I think it makes it look really nice. After I put the polyacrylic on, I used my clear iridescent stars and I sprinkled it on top, realizing that it would stick. And yes, they did stick. The last step is to bake your ornaments. I bake these, since they are 1/8 of an inch thick, at 275 degrees for just 15 minutes. After your ornaments have cooled, then use an embroidery needle and thread your string through your ornaments, and then you can tie a knot at the end and your ornaments are ready to hang. There were a few of my ornaments that it was a little bit tough to get the needle through. For those, I just basically put the needle on the table and I kind of pounded it a little bit and scratched it a little bit in the center of the hole to get it to be able to thread, but it was just a couple of them that had that problem. So here you can see me threading the rest of my ornaments. This was such a fun project, and if you decide to make this, please let me know. I'd love to know what shapes you used and whether you bought some cookie cutters or whether you cut your own shapes out with an X-Acto knife.
You enjoyed my video, and I hope it inspires you to go make some mini ornaments of your own. And if you do that, please let me know down in the comments below and let me know what you created. I would love to see them as well. And Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever holidays that you celebrate. And I wish you love, joy, and peace. And now go make some art today.